Greetings once again. It's time for Shelf Life Book Reviews Online, where I present for you, the reader, a book that is certainly more than highly recommended. And the book this time out is Three Rocks, the story of Ernie Bushmiller, the man who created Nancy. This was written by Bill Griffith, and it is published by Abrams Comic Arts and retails for $31.99. Nancy is what was, and actually still is, because it's still being done, a very famous comic strip. At the height of its popularity, it was in 884, I believe, newspapers across North America, and likely syndicated around the rest of the world. Now, this book is told in graphic comics form by Griffith, who was the creator of Zippy the Pinhead. And so he really does justice to the life of Ernie Bushmiller. Ernie took over the comic strip Fritzi in 1925. The man who created it, he decided to quit. So Ernie Bushmiller took over. Now, Fritzi was the main character. She was sort of a pin-up type cartoon. Very shapely, always in heels, and she definitely was, one of the more popular cartoon strips of the time. And so he added the character of Nancy back, I think, about 1932 or so. And originally, Nancy was not to be a main character. She was going to be a peripheral character, short-term likely, but there was such a great response to Nancy that she became really the focal point of the comic strip. So in 1938, Fritzi was discontinued, but it turned into Nancy. So Aunt Fritzi was still there, Nancy's aunt, and Sluggo was introduced as well too. The sort of, I won't say her boyfriend, but he always looked the same. He had like a he had no hair really. It was just stubble for the entire length of the comic strip. And Nancy herself was, she had frizzy hair, and she usually wore pretty well the same clothes. But the comic strip wasn't very controversial until the 60s, when Ernie Bushmiller decided to add a few political things. Like he added in hippies and yippies, and he also added in, about rock groups, and it was sort of a negative type look at them. He didn't like rock music, he didn't like hippies, he didn't like yippies, and he added a lot of political commentary too about those in government, not just American government. So the comic strip certainly evolved, and why we have the title of Three Rocks here is because in a lot of the comic strips, three rocks were in the background. So why he put them there, actually when the comic strip began, it showed Nancy sitting on the three rocks, sort of contemplating life. And so three rocks became a regular part of the comic strip. So it's really a interesting look. They do reproduce a lot of the older comic strips from the Nancy series. Now, Nancy and Sluggo were the main characters, of course, along with Aunt Fritzi, but also Spike the Bully was introduced, and he was always menacing poor Sluggo. He was the tough kid in the neighborhood, and so he usually got his comeuppance eventually somehow. So if you are familiar with the Nancy comic strip, or if you're not familiar with it, this is a great introduction because, like I said, Bill Griffith is an amazing artist. As you can tell from, he tells all about Ernie Bushmiller's early years, how he met his wife, how he got his ideas for the comic strip. He usually drew the fourth panel first. There were usually 4 panels to each daily comic strip. He drew the 4th panel first, and it was sort of went back in reverse order that he created the comic strip. So that was a unique way of doing it as well too. So if you like comic strips, add this book to your collection. It is a classic in every sense of the word. It's a book you'll want to show your friends if they are comic strip lovers too. So that's the book I wanted to draw to your attention. Hopefully you will add it to your collection. If you do, let me know if you do agree with my review. So thank you for watching. I will be back soon with another exciting book. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.